Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's festivities at Sonoma State University at the banquet for the Sonoma State Athletic Hall of Fame. And I wanted to say greetings from Southern California and wanted to tell you how proud I am of what's going on tonight, that we could all be together once again as brothers after all these years. This thing came about a couple of years ago when Bill Fusco asked me to serve on the Hall of Fame Induction Committee, and I was glad to do so and proud to do so. And earlier this year I came up for the meeting, the induction meeting for this year, and I went into the library over at the school and asked if they had anything about our team, about the 1969 football team. They had virtually nothing. They had an old uniform, one of the original uniforms, a number 44, and the lady asked me if I knew who had worn that uniform. And it was Luther Nelson, and she had no idea who Luther was and wanted to know if I knew anything about him. And I told her that Luther had been a wonderful man, a former Marine, a Vietnam veteran, a father, an artist, and a poet, and that he had died the year before and that he was gone. She also had a bunch of pictures and wanted to know if I knew who these people were. And they were pictures of all of us with no names. And it came to the conclusion that we'd been entirely forgotten, that although she had a lot of pictures, she had virtually nothing about our team and did not know who we were. So I went to the meeting the following day and I told the committee about that experience. And I said that it reminded me of a poem that had been written many years ago called "They Had No Poet." And the poem was a lament about great civilizations and great men and great deeds of history making. And that at the end of each stanza there was a question that was asked: who were they? What were their names? And the answer was "Ask Oblivion. They had no poet and they died." And I told the committee that is what had happened to us, that although we had been there 45 years ago, that we were entirely forgotten and that we'd become just pictures without names and that nobody knew who we were. And I asked the committee to be our poet. I asked them if they could induct us, our very first team, into the Athletic Hall of Fame. And to their credit, they did. This is very special to me, as I am sure that it is to you, because it means that maybe next week or next year, or maybe in 10 years, or maybe in another 45 years, that somebody will walk into our library right next door to this beautiful building where you're having dinner tonight and ask if they knew anything about the original football team at Sonoma State. And the answer is going to be yes, they had a poet. They're in our Hall of Fame, and we know all about them. What that means is that our kids and our grandkids can come over to our beautiful university, and they will know that there was a time when we were young and came together as brothers in a beautiful valley, but on fields of green in Columbia blue, made history as Cossacks. Thank you.